So my name is Benjamin Ella. I'm a soloist with the Royal Ballet here in London.
You are probably the longest friend I have in Australia.
Yay! So first of all, I'll say my parents were ballet dancers. My mum was a principal ballet dancer with Australian Ballet, and my dad was a principal with Royal New Zealand Ballet. They had a ballet school. But actually they didn't push me into ballet, obviously, as you know. When I was 13, one of my teachers gave me a video of Carlos Acosta. I watched that video like 3 times a day. I was obsessed with it. Then that's when I fell in love completely with ballet, I think, and decided that that's what I wanted to do.
Doing so well, second year, so well, third year, so well, until very, very end.
Injury.
Yes,
yeah.
Tell me about that injury. But first of all, what happened?
Started as kind of a gentle pain and from the beginning of the 2 weeks, and then a stress fracture in the navicular in my right foot. Put me in crutches in the boot, and then I had to watch the end of year show in crutches, like in the audience. And I remember just watching it and just like crying, just like, oh, it's supposed to be me. I'll be quick just to skip ahead. Then basically I danced for 6 months or so, and then it happened again. I started dancing again, going into my second season. Then it happened again. The stress fracture opened up. Then I recovered, rested and rehabbed, and came back dancing within about 8 months. Then danced for about 6 months, and then it happened again. So that third time, so that was, I was thinking about stopping ballet actually.
So for the injury itself, is your navicular completely healed, or pins are the one that holding it?
So that's a good question. I probably need to speak to my surgeon. But no, I think pins they kind of make it stronger. The danger is that if you break it with the pins in there, there's probably no coming back, because it can shatter, and that has happened to somebody I know, a ballet dancer, an ex-ballet dancer.
Before that surgery, like when you were talking about it got better and reopen again, got better, reopen again. When you said got better, was it classified as a healed stress fracture, or it was better but it was not completely healed?
I remember looking at scans and things, and it did actually kind of heal, but then it would like refracturing in the same spot. With these things, it's like if it's a clean break, it's actually better, because then it just can grow back together. But that's the thing with stress fractures, is that they don't break so cleanly. And it also, navicular is a very notoriously difficult place to heal, because it has really bad blood flow to the bones. I think it's the same with shins. Runners actually often get navicular stress fractures. It's literally just from repetitive jumping
force.
Force, exactly. Stress fractures are not good, and I think the key with that is just knowing how you can avoid it, because you don't want to get to that point. You underreact, and then maybe you're off for a year, right? You overreact, and you could prevent a long-term injury. I think in general it's probably better to overreact than underreact, especially when it's something like a bony injury.
For those that don't know, the stress fracture is almost like the end of the bone injury, and before that had a stress reaction, and before that was silent injury. So the fact that you see the stress fracture isn't a beginning of injury itself in terms of bone, right? So for you to be able to hear your body's voice and react to it, even if the scan said nothing is wrong with you.
Certainly I've learned that now. The earlier you get on top of it, the less time you have to take off. We're basically fighting our nature, right? Because of course we want to dance, and of course we want to do this show that we've been preparing for. Somebody recently that had a bony problem, and I'm worried about this. It's been a bit sore, and I said, how long has it been sore for? And he said, kind of like 2 months. And I went, you better get it checked out. It wasn't good, and it ended up being a long-term injury. 2 months dancing on a possible bone injury is, I hate to say it, but probably too late. But if it's just started, you can actually manage it, and maybe you miss some things, maybe not even. You could still kind of dance with it, but you just have to really manage your workload, the amount of jumps that you do. And it is difficult when you're a student, for example, when the whole year leads up to the end of year show. But then you've got to think, well, if I push myself for this one thing, but miss my first year in a professional company, I'm not sure if that's such a good payoff. Sorry. It's important, I think, to really think about the pros and the cons, short term and long term.
You never learn how to be good injured dancers, if lack of a better term, but then you know that, okay, I can still do the class, but not jumping. Or maybe, okay, I'm just going to miss out the rehearsal a little bit. But you're still you're still at school, you're still in the company and still doing things. You don't have to take yourself completely off. So manage your workload, as you said, is really, really important when you become professionals.
My natural tendencies, I just want to go and push. I'll give you a perfect example of this. I think it was the second time my foot got injured, my navicular. And at the time, we didn't have a proper gym, and we had a bench in the changing room, like a bench press for the guys. But it was like one of the dancers had bought it, and it was kind of rickety. And the second time I got injured, I was so frustrated and so angry, right? Back then, we also didn't have sports scientists and proper kind of, rehab things set up. And I, didn't warm up. Like I didn't really know what I was doing. And I went straight to, like a heavy weight. And I remember going, pop, and I went, oh, what was that? Put it back, like really sore. I was like, oh, something's wrong, but like, I'm not going to deal with it now. Because I think I was flying back to Australia soon after that. And the pain didn't go away. I went to Australia and I tore my serratus. I literally tore it.
What an idiot.
What an idiot. And so that's why working hard is great, but you have to work smart, actually having a proper strategy. And that's why, we're so lucky now. We have these amazing sports scientists that work with us, physios, Pilates and everything. They all work together, and it's important. You need to kind of mix it all together and combine it all together. Yeah.
Did you have that thought of, okay, that's it, I'm going to stop dancing because it's way too difficult? Or
Definitely. Difficult? Yeah, the operation was a moment of just, okay, this is kind of the last chance. Like it really was that. And psychologically, it almost destroyed me. Luckily, I had seen a really good sports psychologist in Australia, and that really helped me to deal with that side of it. And I remember even just walking around the opera house, like my third season, and I'd danced probably altogether like less than a year. And I was often almost thinking to stop my career. And just walking through the corridors and not wanting to talk, like not wanting to see, like hoping that I wouldn't see anybody, because I just felt like such a failure. And like, I just felt so ashamed of myself. But yeah, I really did consider stopping ballet, but I couldn't. That was kind of the point where I remember I even said to my parents, can you guys just be my parents, like not my teachers? And they really were there for me. And as I said, like transitioned fully maybe back to just being parents to support me. And I don't know if bad is the right word, but one of the not ideal things that came from that was that often when I do become injured, in order to deal with it psychologically, there's definitely a part of me that almost gives up, or not gives up, but kind of
detach yourself from that.
Detach myself because it's easier to deal with, but the positive side of that is that I now have so many other things that I'm interested in the world. And I'm studying kind of economics and business and management at Open University. So there's quite a few other things that I'm interested in. And certainly that's been a good way for me to deal with, with the pain and kind of avoid the pain.
At the moment, for your foot, what do you have to do? Is there any routine that you have to do in order for your foot, but also psychologically you feel like, okay, I can do this?
When I came back from the operation, that was actually when we first got some sports scientists to work with us. That was a huge part of my journey get stronger, basically. Yeah, ballet is good and you can get stronger doing ballet, but you really need a solid, foundation, right? For your body, for to withstand all the jumps and everything. I mean, the amount of fear as well that I had after that operation, with those 2 titanium pins in there, I mean, that definitely took a few years to really get over that. I was quite afraid, of jumping too much on that and hurting it. Literally all this stuff in the gym we did, things that you'd think, dancers don't do, but squats, deadlifts, doing your core, strengthening upper body, strengthening the legs, the quads, the hamstrings, the calves, calf rises, making sure that the calves are strong. Even we did running, and plyometrics, but also again, that's the thing, making sure you recover. So, we'd really push on some days, and even though I'd be afraid, and we'd be running and jumping and doing really extreme, heavy things, but then recovering really well. Kind of pushing in a smart way, right? Like making sure you warm up well and making sure, you're testing some of the limits slowly, gradually over time, but recovery is so important.
It's such a evidence-based rehab, isn't it? It's not just doing sake of doing it. No. And the fact that you have to calculate what you are doing, where you're doing, in which timing you are doing, like you were talking about, like a warm up, and when you put that push day in, and make sure that you have proper recovery day next day.
Completely,
Sometimes like dancers think sort of, I've got to do, because they do class every day, got to do hard work every single day. Yet when you actually look into the body, you work hard, you recover, and then you work hard again.
And and the thing is, that's actually, you can work hard still every day in a different way, right? You can working hard maybe one day, jumping a lot, and working hard the other day, maybe not making sure you don't jump, making sure you recover well. Maybe you do other exercises, maybe you do some upper body things, maybe you do some back exercises, but also you can't do that every day as well, right? Like you can't do everything every day all the time. You will just deteriorate, if you keep doing that. But also it was extremely comprehensive as well. We combined that with sports psychology, making sure you sleep really well, making sure you eat well. There's no like one, this fixes everything kind of medicine.
Yes, you are doing ballet techniques, but the fundamental needs to get stronger as a human, right? So before doing all the ballet stuff, as a human being, you have to be in top level, in a way, athlete, physically, mentally. Then you put the ballet technique on top of an artistic skill and what have you. But we often forget that baseline of a normal human.
Completely. And I mean, one of my favorite quotes of Aristotle, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. And like you have to start with yourself, right? And I think that like you have to start with your mind, right?
That was a whole advice to the dancers that are injured right now. Like make sure you are eating well and exercising well and work smart and all, But is there anything else you want to add on top of that?
Yeah, I can tell you all these things, but I think the key is that you have to experience it for themselves, but also learn for themselves. So, because also every individual dancer is different, right? Psychologically and physically. There's no one size fits all for everyone. Maybe some people need more recovery than others, and maybe some people need to push more than others. It depends. It's all about finding your own balance.
Educate yourself, not just to copy and paste from others.
Exactly. And
I have to say that culturally speaking, I think Japanese are so good with following the orders, but I find we tend to just follow orders and that's it and stop there. Just think about, okay, does this apply to me, or is this right for me right now? And that sort of
questioning. I think that's important, right? Like, and it doesn't have to be questioning as in everything they say is wrong, right? Testing the hypotheses or whatever, right? And to be honest, I think what you're saying about the culturally is also in the ballet world in general. It's you have to be very disciplined, and it's quite a strict physical art form. And even going into a professional company, there is still this aspect of us getting treated like kids sometimes. So yeah, even in general, I'd say the ballet world, but absolutely, maybe more so in Japanese culture.
Thank you so much for your time today. And I will come back to the other video. My first question is, why are you still dancing?
Why am I still dancing?
Yes. Do you have a routine before you go onto stage?
Sometimes we finish at 5:30 and the show's at 7:30. And if I'm doing like a difficult role and I really want to prepare, I hate it. I feel like I need more time, not the whole reality.
What advice would you give to young boy dancers or male dancers?
I mean, all ballet companies around the world are 50-50. Men and women. Maybe sometimes they can have a little bit more women than men, but pretty much 50-50. So you realize, like, actually, you know what? This is a great opportunity because there's less competition. I mean, you should pursue whatever you're passionate about because what's the point of living if you don't pursue what you're passionate about? I am not so good at makeup. And
you've been in this career for such a long time. You smell issues, problems.
Thanks for having me. And yeah, see you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.